This series was co-produced by the Felight and Keybind systems, and was created to teach and inform others about tulpas based on our own experiences and convictions. We adhere to a realistic, logical, and ethical approach to the subject of tulpas and the various topics surrounding them. For more information and resources, look in the description. Narration is one of the most essential tools to use when it comes to forcing your tulpa. Narration can be defined as talking to your tulpa about anything you want, and should be done as often as possible in order to help them reach sentience, grow as a thought form, and eventually become stronger and more self-sustainable as a tulpa. To narrate, all you have to do is talk to them in your mind as you go about your day about anything you wish. You can talk to them about what you're currently doing, what you think about it, what you want to do next, or absolutely anything that you'd like to talk to them about. You can tell them about your favorite movies or games, what you wish to accomplish in the future, or anything else you can think of. If you end up repeating yourself, then that's perfectly fine as well. It doesn't matter what you talk about or how many times you do so. It only matters that you do talk to them on a consistent basis. You can narrate to them while focusing on them intently without distractions, or you can narrate to them while doing something else. There are virtually no limits to when, where, how, or often you narrate. The chances of you hearing a response from them may even increase the more narration you do towards them. They will become reinforced as a thought form within your brain as you narrate, which means they'll be growing as you do so. There are a few different methods for narration that we will list, but there are probably others we haven't thought of. As with other things involving forcing, you should experiment and find what works best for you. Take these methods as ideas for you to implement and not requirements that you have to follow. One method of narration involves you simply describing in your head everything that's going on around you, or anything that you're doing. Try to hold an inner monologue in your head of yourself describing things to your tulpa as you go about your day. Remember that it doesn't matter what exactly you talk about, only that you do. Another method is that, instead of describing things to your tulpa, you tell them a story. It can be absolutely any story you can think of. A fictional one, a historical one from your own life, anything. You can tell them any story you like as many times as you like. Simply find one you'd like to tell and you think they'd find interesting or entertaining, and tell it to them. Visualizing the story as you go along may be good too, since you'd be sharing those images with your tulpa, which can be another way to force them. You can also read to your tulpa. Find any book, article, or text you like, and try focusing on your tulpa as you read it. Try sharing the mental images you get from reading it with them, as well as any emotions or thoughts the book gives you. Share with them anything that comes to your mind while reading it. You can try encouraging them to share their own thoughts with you as well. They may respond with words or thoughts, or even gestures or emotions. Try reading something while visualizing them beside you and see how it goes. If it goes well, and you're able to focus on both, then that's great, and you can do it again with other books, or even the same book. If you find it difficult to focus on both the book and your tulpa at the same time, then an alternate option may work better for you. That option would be that, instead of reading other people's writings to your tulpa, you write to them yourself. You can open a digital document such as Google Docs and type to your tulpa about anything you like, or you can use paper and write by hand. You can write about anything, and it doesn't matter how well you do it. The main thing is that you focus on mentally directing your thoughts to your tulpa as you write to them. Writing can be a very good option as it helps enhance one's focus, and it can feel more personal than reading to them. If you're the kind of person who enjoys writing, then give this method a shot. It may pay off well. You don't have to worry about the quality of your writing at all. Just make sure to think towards them as you go along. Overall, it doesn't matter too much what method you choose. Their effectiveness depends on how often you do them and how much you enjoy them. Don't force yourself to narrate in a way that you find boring or tedious. Do what works best for you. The main thing you can do is just to try to get into the habit of directing your normal day-to-day thoughts towards your tulpa, and experiment with other, more direct methods that may work well for you. Narrate as much as you can, however you can, and don't worry if you're not doing it right or not doing it enough. The main thing is just to do what works for you. Talking to your tulpa is one of the most beneficial things you can do for them. It builds up the connections of their own mind and reinforces their existence. The same way doing a habit repeatedly reinforces its existence in your brain, talking to your tulpa repeatedly reinforces them. Hence the word forcing. One question people ask if it's better to narrate in one's head or out loud. The answer to that is whichever one works better for you, you can do. As established, there is no real right or wrong way when it comes to narrating. If talking out loud helps you focus, then do that. If you're fine with simply talking in your mind, then that's fine too. Another question people may ask is how exactly they are supposed to focus on their tulpa if their tulpa doesn't yet exist. The answer to that is by visualization. At this point in the process, you probably already chose some sort of simple placeholder form meant to visually represent your tulpa. You can focus on that form as you narrate, and that serves as a way to focus on your tulpa. It doesn't matter how vivid their form is, so long as you focus on it. If focusing on a form isn't your strong suit, then you can experiment with other methods. You can try focusing on their presence in your mind if they have one. If you experience head pressures, you can tell yourself that it represents your tulpa and focus on that. You can focus on a drawing of them, or you can simply focus on the idea of their existence. Again, find what works best for you. In the next video, we will discuss how visualizing can be good for forcing your tulpa, and the different ways you can do it. We will also explain what wonderlands are, and the various misconceptions behind them. This episode was written by Apollo Felight and was voiced and edited by Blair Keybine.